Good morning, children. Welcome back to the class of biology. In the last session, we had discussed about plant tissues and the diagrams related to the plant tissues and animal tissues. Today, we'll learn in detail about the animal tissues. When we talk about animal tissues, most of the tissues are living. They move around in search of food and shelter. So, the structural organization of the organ and organ systems is more specialized and localized in animals than in plants because they have to perform specific functions. Because of that, they have specialized functions to perform. Now, on the basis of these functions that they perform, animal tissues are classified into 4 types. Let us see now what are those 4 types of animal tissues. The first type of animal tissue is epithelial tissue. The second is connective tissue, muscular tissue, and the nervous tissues. So, these are the 4 types of animal tissues. Now, let us see all of these animal tissues one by one. Epithelial tissues. Now, these tissues, they form the covering of the external surface, the internal cavities and the organs of the animal body. These tissues are tightly packed and they form a continuous sheet. So, this type of tissues are found in the skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of the blood vessels, lung alveoli and kidney tubules. So, all these tissues, they are found here in these organs. Now, when we talk about this epithelial tissues, anything when entering or leaving the body must cross at least one layer of epithelium. So, what happens on account of this? The permeability of the cell of various epithelia plays an important role in regulating the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment and also between the different parts of the body. So, it just acts as a permeable layer that allows the exchange of materials. As we had talked in plant cells and animal cells about the layer which helps to protect. So, these also acts as a protective layer which is also responsible for the permeability of the materials that go in and out of the cell. Now, this epithelium is usually separated from the tissues by an extracellular fibrous basement membrane. You can see a membrane that separates these tissues from the other parts of the body. So, it has its unique function in different parts of the body, and on the basis of that, these tissues perform their function. Now, when we talk about the functions of epithelial tissues, epithelial tissues covers most organs and cavities within the body. So, you can say that it is a covering. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. As I talked just now, that there is a layer or there is a barrier which separates the tissue from the remaining parts of the body. And the third function that I just discussed before is the permeability of the cells of various epithelia. They play an important role in regulating the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment. On the basis of that, there are different types of epithelial tissues. So, epithelial tissues are classified into simple squamous epithelium, stratified squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium. You can see in this figure clearly the figure of the squamous epithelial tissue, the stratified squamous tissue, the columnar tissue and the cuboidal tissues. Now we'll talk about each of this one by one. Let's talk about the first type of squamous epithelium, that is the simple squamous epithelium. Now when we talk about the lung alveoli, or when we talk about the lining blood vessels in cells where transportation of substances occurs through a selectively permeable surface, there is a simple flat and extremely thin kind of epithelium which is named as simple squamous epithelium. So what is its function? It just separates. It is a permeable layer that separates the different cells. Now when we talk about this squamous epithelium, you can see from the figure that it is flat and it is square like shape. So this type of layers are found in the skin. The next type of the epithelium is the stratified squamous epithelium. You saw the figure where it was seen that the skin which protects the body is also made up of squamous epithelium. So these skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent the wear and tear, and they are arranged in a pattern of layers. So on basis of that, it is known as the stratified squamous epithelium. So you might have observed that whenever we get hurt and when our finger is cut, when the first layer of the skin it is removed, after few days we observe that another layer of the skin appears. So that is called the wear and tear of tissues. So when the wear and tear of tissues takes place, what are the cells? They are the epithelial cells that are arranged and which helps in the wear and tear of tissues. Now when we talk about the third type of tissue, that is the cuboidal epithelium. From the name itself we come to know about its shape, that it is cuboidal in shape, and it forms the lining of the kidney tubules and ducts of the salivary glands. So this is present inside the body in the internal organs. Now sometimes what happens that a portion of the epithelial tissues that folds inward to form a multicellular gland, अंदर जाके वो एक ग्लैंड बन जाता है, वो ऐसे फोल्ड हो जाता है और फोल्ड होके एक ग्लैंड बनाता है, एंड दस इट इज़ टर्म्ड एज द ग्लैंडुलर एपिथेलियम. So what is its function? Its basic function is of secretion and absorption. So the secretion that takes place and the absorption that takes place, it is due to the cuboidal epithelium or the cuboidal epithelium tissues. Now let's talk about the fourth type of epithelium tissues, and that is the connective tissue. Now see, here also you can make out from the name itself that it connects. So the cells of the connective tissues are loosely spaced. They are away from each other and they are embedded in an intercellular matrix. वो अंदर एक मैट्रिक्स जैसा बनाते हैं. Embedded means they are bound and they form a matrix like structure. And what is their specialization? They are specialized to connect various body organs. As the name suggests that its function is to connect. Now where is it found? It is found in blood plasma, in bones, cartilage, ligaments and tendons. Now you have learned about the ligaments and tendons in your previous classes, but again when we'll talk about the muscular tissues, we'll again come back to ligaments and tendons and their functions, how they work and how they perform the function in our body. But here the connective tissues are those tissues which they connect various body organs. Now as we talked about plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is a fluid matrix of blood. It is liquid in state and it is yellowish liquid. It is yellowish in color and it again contains three types of blood cells. You might have heard about the RBCs and WBCs. So in 8th standard also you have learned about it. So the plasma contains the RBC. The full form of RBC is red blood cells, the blood that flows into our body, it contains, most part of it contains plasma. So plasma has RBC, WBC, that is white blood cells, and platelets. Okay, now here you can see in this figure, less than 1% are the platelets. This is the constituents of blood. These are the constituents of blood. मतलब ब्लड में क्या क्या प्रेजेंट होता है और कितने परसेंटेज में. डोंट वरी, दिस वोंट बी आस्क्ड इन एग्जाम, बट दिस इज जस्ट फॉर योर नॉलेज. यू मस्ट नो that the blood contains less than 1% of platelets. It contains 45% of red blood cells, and the plasma that is present in the blood, it constitutes of 55%. So what is the maximum amount in blood? It is the plasma. Now as you can see downside the figure of WBC, so this WBC contains monocytes, eosinophil, basophil, lymphocytes and neutrophil. You don't need to go into too much detail about these names. Just remember the constituents of blood, that is RBC, WBC and the plasma. On the right side you can see the figure of the RBC and WBC. This is the structure of the blood molecules, that is the blood that is present, blood cells that are present in the body. You can see the RBC, you can see the blood platelets, and you can see the WBC. Let's move on to the next part, that is the bones. Now we have learned about the bones from our lower classes, but we do not know what kind of tissues it forms. So bones are also a connective tissues that forms the framework that supports the body. Now this we are learning since lower classes, that bones are a framework that supports the body, but here you just have to remember one more word, that is the connective tissue. These are strong and non-flexible tissue. Now when we talk about bones, it is but obvious that they are strong and they are non-flexible, means we cannot bend them, we cannot just move as we like. There is a difference between bones and muscles. So bones are not flexible, and as we grow, as we reach old age, our bones become brittle and they may break easily. You might have heard about people who are old, when they fell down, then they may have more chances of fracture. And the students who are less involved in sports and those who have weak bones, what happens? They get their bones fractured very easily. So we must eat calcium rich food so that we can make our bones strong, because they are not flexible and they may break easily if we do not take care of our body. Okay, now let's talk about its structure. We'll talk about the bones later on and the nutrients afterwards. So bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. So only we say that the calcium stores that are present in the body, they are present in the bones. So we must eat food that is rich in calcium so that we can have those stores in our body, calcium stores. Okay, now let's talk about the ligaments and tendons. As I told just now, that what are ligaments? When two bones are connected to each other by a connective tissue, that is called the ligament. So what is the main function of the ligament? It connects the bones, and this tissue is flexible. So if you talk about ligaments, ligaments are not bones, they are tissues. Now what is the work of these tissues? They connect the bones. So it is just like a thing that is present at the joint and which connects the two bones. It is flexible or elastic in nature. Now the major difference between ligaments and tendons is, tendons are the tissues, are the connective tissues that join or connect bones to muscles. तो लिगामेंट्स दो बोन्स को कनेक्ट करता है और टेंडेंस जो होता है वो बोन्स को मसल्स के साथ कनेक्ट करते हैं. सो टेंडेंस आर फाइब्रस टिश्यूज विथ ग्रेट स्ट्रेंथ, बट दे आर limitedly flexible. So they have limited flexibility. So tendons cannot move easily, but ligaments can. Okay, here in this figure you may make out and you will come to know about the ligaments. That in the first figure you can see the tendons and you can see the muscle and you can even see the bone. So you can see here the skeletal muscle and you can see the bone. Here the tendons, they are binding the muscle to the bone, and on the right side you can see the palm which shows the ligaments. The white color you can see is the joint. So that joints, they have the tissues and those are connective tissues and they contain ligaments that bind bone to bone. So the bones are connected to the other bones with the help of ligaments. Okay, now let's talk about the next part, that is the cartilage. What is cartilage? Now cartilage is again another type of connective tissue. Now this has widely spaced cells, so the cells are very far apart from each other, and the solid matrix of this tissues is composed of proteins and sugars. So now see, if you want to make your body strong, then even you need to have proteins along with calcium. Okay, so if you want to make your connective tissue strong, if you want to make your body very strong, then you need proteins, you need calcium. Okay, now what is the main function of the cartilage? The cartilage smoothens bone surface at joints and is also present in the nose, ear, trachea and larynx. Now where is trachea? Yes, it's inside the body, but it's present in the chest part. So through the nose, when we move down, then the part which connects the lungs and the windpipe, so that is called the trachea. Now there is one cartilage that can be folded, and that is the cartilage of the ear. If you just move your ear, you will find that tissue is helpful, that makes the ear to bend. So it is the cartilage. Now again, when we move into detail about the types of connective tissues, these were the other types of tissues. Now let's talk about the connective tissues. Connective tissues are again classified into two types of tissues, that are areolar tissues and adipose tissues. So only last time I had told you to go through the figures, so that if you have gone through the figures, it will be very easy for you to link the lesson. And I am not going to read the whole chapter for you. In this PPT I have tried to take most of the points so that you understand the lesson well. You can see here that again I have shown you the diagram, the clear diagram of the four types of tissues. Here you can see the areolar tissues, you can see the space that is between them. You can see the adipose tissues. Now adipose tissues we will discuss in detail next. Bone tissues you can see, and the fourth one is the cartilage tissue. So these are the different types of tissues. We will talk about the types of tissues later, one by one. So let's talk about the first tissue, first connective tissue, that is the areolar tissues. What are areolar tissues? Areolar tissues are found in the skin and muscles. Around the blood vessels and nerves. So from the location you can understand where this type of tissues are found, and on the basis of that we will also come to know about its function. So you can link the position of these tissues with the functions. So when we talk about the skin, when we talk about the muscles, then we will come to know about its function, that its main function is to fill the space inside the organs. So areolar, so air, it is something related to air and space. So वो क्या करता है, वो ऑर्गन्स के अंदर जो जगह होती है उसको भर देता है. इट सपोर्ट्स इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स एंड हेल्प्स इन रिपेयर ऑफ टिश्यूज. So these are the major functions of the areolar tissues. When we talk about the next type of tissues, that is the adipose tissue, it is found between the internal organs and below the skin. What is the main function of adipose tissues? It stores fats and it acts as an insulator. Now you might have found that a person who is very fat, he'll feel less cold compared to the person who is slim or who is thinner. Now why? Because this type of tissues, that is the adipose tissues, that is found below the skin, it acts as an insulator. What is insulator? Insulator is actually a material that does not allow heat to pass through, और इट डू नॉट अलाउ ट्रांसफ़र ऑफ हीट. जल्दी से वो जो हीट होती है वो ट्रांसफ़र नहीं होती है, हीट या कोल्ड या कुछ भी. सो अगेन दिस एडिपोज टिश्यूज़ दे स्टोर्स फैट. तो जहाँ जहाँ पे ये एडिपोज टिश्यू स्टोर होता है, वो जो पार्ट्स होते हैं बॉडी के, दे आर कंपैरेटिवली फैट. सो because of the deposition of the fat. So you might have found that the person who are fat, then they have this adipose tissues, they are collected at one place, and you can see that tissues collected, and because of that the person appears fat. Okay, now here you can see the diagram of the areolar tissues. Here you can see it clearly. See the fibers and the fibroblast. Now these mast cells and collagen fiber and all these things you will learn when you will go in higher classes. At this level, just have to just know the location and what is its function. So we have already learned, so no need to go into the detail of the labeling of each part, that is the macrophage and the fibroblast and everything, that you will learn when you will go in higher classes. So just now you just need to know about the structure of the areolar tissues. You can see here the compact bone. Now even regarding the compact bone, you just see the structure. No need to go into too much detail about its structure. Here you can see the adipose tissues, how the fat is deposited. You can see the holes and you can see the place where the fat is deposited. And here downside you can see the types of blood cells. Just before 2 to 3 slides you have seen the different types of platelets, the monocytes, lymphocytes. I had shown you the figure, so again no need to go into too much detail about it. This is just for your information. Okay, now let's move on to the third type of tissue, that is the muscular tissues. Now from the name itself we can understand that it is something related to the muscle. So when we talk about it, it is elongated in structure, so it consists of elongated cells, and they are also termed as the muscle fiber. Now how do the muscles help? We have learned in our lower classes that muscle is related to movement. When we talked about push and pull, and when we were talking about force, then which part of the body helped? It was the bones and the muscles. We know that when the muscles pull the bones, then we are able to move. So that movement, so muscular tissues are responsible for movement in our body, and thus it helps in movement. Now it also consists of special proteins, or it contains special proteins, and these proteins are called contractile proteins. Now what are these contractile proteins? They help to contract and relax to cause movement. Now if we talk about the stomach, you must know that the stomach is a bag of muscles. Stomach में कहीं पे भी bone नहीं होता है. It is a muscular bag. So whenever the process of digestion takes place, you might have felt that movement that contracting and relaxing. Even when we talk about the lungs, then there also that contraction and relaxation takes place. When we talk about our heart, so when the heart pumps the blood, so at that time also the blood, when the blood is pumped, then the contraction and relaxation takes place. So what causes these functions, or what is responsible for these functions? It is the muscular tissues. Okay, so you can see here clearly in the figure of the human body, you can see the cardiac muscle cell. Now cardiac is the word related to heart. तो हार्ट में जो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और रिलैक्सेशन होता है, दिस बिकॉज ऑफ द कार्डियक मसल सेल्स. You can see the skeletal muscle cell, you can see the hand and the muscles that are related to the skeleton. So that cells, that also when you just do pull-ups, अगर आप पुलअप्स कर रहे हो, अगर अपने हाथ हिला रहे हो या कोई हैवी ऑब्जेक्ट उठा रहे हो, देन यू मे फील दैट स्ट्रेच इन योर बोन्स, सॉरी इन योर मसल्स, and that is all because of the skeletal muscle cells. Here you can see the figure of the internal organ, and here you can see that the smooth muscle cell that is responsible in the stomach for the contraction and relaxation. Okay, downside you can see the different types of muscles. Again, they are smooth muscles as found in the stomach. You can see the skeletal muscles that are found in the hands and legs, and you can see the cardiac muscles. So they have the ciliated muscles. Now this ciliated word we'll talk later on when we'll move on to the next slide. I'll tell you what is the name of the cilia and what is the ciliated muscles. Okay, now further let us talk about the different types of muscular tissues. Muscular tissues are of three types. They are striated muscles or skeletal muscles or voluntary muscles. These are three names, but they are only one. The other kind of muscular tissues are the smooth muscles or the involuntary muscles, and the third are the cardiac muscles or the involuntary muscles. So you have seen the figure already upside, and there we had talked about the skeletal muscles, the smooth muscles and the cardiac muscles. Now why do we term them as voluntary and involuntary? Voluntary means they can be controlled, their action can be controlled. If we want to move our hand or legs muscles, we can move it on our wish. But what about cardiac muscles? They work even when we are asleep. हम जब भी सो रहे होते हैं तब भी वो मसल्स अपना काम कर रहे होते हैं. The beating of the heart does not stop when we sleep. So they are involuntary in nature. When we talk about the striated muscles or the skeletal muscles, these muscles are also called the skeletal muscles. Why they are called skeletal muscles? Because they are mostly attached to the bones and they help in the body movement. Now when we talk about the cells of the striated muscles, they are cylindrical in shape, they are unbranched. What is the meaning of unbranched? They cannot be broken into branches, they are unbranched. So they are, you can see the straight shape of the muscles, and you can see that they are multinucleate. Multinucleate means, multi means many, so they have many nucleus, and thus they are termed as the multinucleated cells or multinucleated muscles. The other kind of muscles are the smooth muscles. Now from the word itself we can understand that they are smooth and they are involuntary. Where they are found? They are found in the iris of the eye, आँखों में, in the uterus, in the bronchi of the lungs. So these are the parts where we don't move them, but these muscles, they do their work on their own. And when we talk about the structure of these cells are long and they are spindle shaped. They are spindle shaped and they possess a single nucleus. So what is the difference between the two muscular tissues? You can just make out with the help of the nucleus. So the previous one was multinuclei and it has a number of nucleus, and when we talk about the smooth muscle, then it is single nucleated or it is single nucleate. The third type of muscles are the cardiac muscles or involuntary muscles. They help in the rhythm contraction and relaxation of the heart. तो जो rhythm हमें सुनाई देती है when we hear the lub dub of the muscles when they contract and when they relax, then that rhythm takes place in our heartbeat. So that is because of the cardiac muscles. When we talk about the structure of these cardiac muscles, they are cylindrical, they are branched, and they are uninucleate. Now what is the meaning of uninucleate? Again, it has a single nucleus. Okay, let's come back to the last part of the tissues, that is the nervous tissues. Now the word nervous, that is related to the brain, that is related to the spinal cord and the nerves. We know, we have learned in the previous years that the brain, spinal cord and nerves, they all are part of the nervous system and they together form the nervous tissues. Now what are nervous tissues and what is their functions? They are specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another within the body. You might have heard and you might have experienced how the message transmits or how it moves from one place to another very quickly. If you see a dog coming near, you will just run away or you will move far from that place. If you are walking and if you see a pit, then immediately your brain will give message to your leg and you will just withdraw your leg from there and you will move from the other side. So that is the function of the brain. So what helps there? The brain, the spinal cord and the nerves. And what are the tissues that are associated with it? They are the nervous tissues. So the tissues that are related to the nerves are the nervous tissues. What are neurons? Neurons are the cells of the nervous tissues. Nervous tissues के जो cells होते हैं उनका एक नाम होता है और उसको कहते हैं neurons. Now when we see the structure of neuron, now this structure of neuron you have to draw it in your notebook because it is important and you must know its structure, that it composes of a cell body, an axon and a dendrite. So here you can see in this figure, you have to draw this figure in your notebook. If you don't remember this node, if you don't remember the Schwann cells, then it's okay, but you need to remember the myelin sheath, the axon and the axon terminal. What is axon terminal? Axon terminal is the tip. You can see the last part. Terminal मतलब छेड़ो, जो last में होता है वो. So that is the last part of the tissue. And here in the structure you can see the dendrite. You can see the branches, and that on the last branch you can find that purple color which consists of the dendrite. And in between the structure you can see the green dot like structure, and that is the nucleus. So this is the structure of the neuron which is responsible for transmitting the messages from the brain to the different parts of the body and vice versa. Now what works in the absence of brain? It is the spinal cord. So spinal cord also plays an important role in the nervous tissues. So this is the last part of the lesson. Now you might come across certain words when you read the lesson. I have tried to include everything in the lesson and in the PPT, but still when you read the lesson and you come across some word which you don't understand, please feel free to ask me. And even if you have any doubt, I have tried to cover everything in this presentation, but still if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask me anytime. Hope you have understood the concepts well. I have covered the animal tissue today. If possible, I'll try to revise the plant and animal tissues together and try to present it in the form of a flowchart so that you can understand it well. Have a nice day, and if you don't understand anything, please feel free to ask me. Thank you. Have a nice day.